Good morning, everybody. This is meteorologist Sam Gabrielli checking in here. I'm going to give you some updates on the remnants of Hurricane and now Tropical Storm Helene. And hold on just one moment. I'm just trying to load up the Facebook Live on my end of things just because I want to get some of your questions answered that you might have during the portion of this live video. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Meteorologist Sam Gabrielli from the Weather Impact Alert Team. We've been watching and tracking what was Hurricane Helene late last night and so far into the early portion of the day today and throughout much of the morning. She kept her strength, still a tropical storm, and really rumbled through the state of Georgia, producing some really strong wind there, some flooding rains, and much of Appalachia really seeing some catastrophic flooding that was underway there. But as far as we're concerned locally, we're more than likely not going to be seeing kind of widespread flooding. If anything, this rainfall is going to be just kind of beneficial for this drought that we've been in. So this will be some good news, of course, that a lot of us are probably looking forward to a good old soaking of rainfall. Our gardens need it, the lakes, rivers, streams, you name it. We all need that rainfall. A lot of the farmers probably need some rain too as the growing season is coming to a close. But let's talk about what's going on, how much rain has fallen. And again, throughout the portion of this video, if you do have any kind of questions that come to mind, you can always put them in the comment section. I'll try my best to get to some of those questions you might have on this Friday. I know it's a bit of a rainy one. We've seen over an inch of rain in Louisville. And I'm going to get some of the details up right now for you so you get an idea of how much rain has fallen. This is a current look right now actually at our radar, and we have been noticing the tropical storm still kind of racing across much of the Appalachia region. Right now the center of circulation, still a tropical storm, believe it or not, with Helene. It's right over much of eastern Tennessee, the tropical storm and center of circulation. It's trying to rumble up into the far southeastern tier of Louisville, of Kentucky. And so we're watching some rounds of rain right now and a kind of a strong wind underway with Helene still. So along with that, we're kind of noticing the stronger portion of the tropical storm marching into our area now. I know this morning, if you ventured outside, the wind really wasn't that bothersome, but I do want to just reiterate that we're tracking basically from now onwards through the late afternoon. The wind will be a little bit hectic here. We're expecting to see some gusts easily getting to about 40 to 45 miles an hour from the remnants of Helene, of course. Here's a quick look at those current wind gusts outside. And we notice as we approach the noon hour and the lunch hour, Louisville at the airport, a gust right now of 35 miles an hour. The main concern actually off to the east, Frankfort, gusts of around 43. Shelbyville, LaGrange, all seeing wind gusts there right around 30 miles an hour. A little bit lesser gusts actually as far as we're concerned in southern Indiana right now, but again, this will be that main issue as we get you into the rest of the day today. And the National Weather Service, because of that wind gust threat through the rest of the day, did issue that high wind warning. That still remains in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. It's kind of a heads up from the National Weather Service that power outages will be possible with some of these extreme strong, or not extreme strong wind gusts, but fairly strong wind gusts. Could be making for some power outages. I know a lot of tree branches may be falling down easily in this kind of wind. If you have any kind of stuff or items outside in your lawn, around the deck, maybe the patio, out around deck furniture, bring it inside if you can before the wind does get a little hectic later on today. Ben Pine with a nice little comment. Well, you'll be here in about 2 hours, Ben. Try my best to keep it cloudy and not rainy because we definitely saw a decent amount of rain earlier. We have a question here from Paul. Is the wind more concerned than the rain? I would say so, yes, especially because this rain that we're seeing is kind of spread out throughout the course of 3 days or so. It's not just falling down at one time. So like we've been talking about, the rain forecast will amount to about 2 to 4 inches, but we're going to be seeing that rainfall. Take a look at this in a span of this morning, basically until we get into about Sunday afternoon. So what is that? That's about a 60-hour temperature, or 60-hour spread with time. So that basically answers the question of we're not going to see flash flooding. It's going to be more minor flooding impact. So I'm more concerned about the strong wind today than the rainfall because we're not going to see too much of a flood threat. It'll be more of just an on and off power outage threat today. Caitlin asked, how is 65 South looking? I guess I can pull up our traffic tracker real quick to give you a little update on the roads, but I do think we should be generally okay when it comes to our travel. right now at least. I know there were reports of a lot of crashes earlier this morning. Gosh, I guess I can't load in our traffic. I have the wrong show loaded up actually for our traffic tracker. Let me see if I can dig it up real quick, or else I can pull up our Trimark and give you an update. Here's a quick little look right now at 65. Great question from Caitlin, because it looks like we are noticing a bit of a crash there just south of U of L. Right lane and right shoulder blocked here just towards Eastern Parkway. So again, it'll be kind of slow going due to some of the rainfall today and the strong wind. So just if you're driving, make sure to use some precautions on the roads. But let's jump back to weather. So like I just mentioned, we have that high wind warning that is in effect. That goes until 8 p.m. this evening, as we're expecting to see, of course, strong wind play a factor. And along with that, too, we actually have the flood watch that's still in effect as well. That goes until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, of course, the flood threat through tomorrow morning, due to about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall today, or not today, 2 to 4, about probably 1 to 2.5, maybe even 3 inches of rain today. But we're going to be seeing more rain throughout the day tomorrow, and then again, even additional rain throughout the daytime hours on Sunday. But of course, in the short term, the big issue is the wind. We're mainly just going to be seeing the wind threat from now until about 8 o'clock this evening. And then once we get into about late evening, the wind really shouldn't be too big of a deal. This gives you another depiction for the wind gust map too. Again, the wind really kind of tapering off as we get into this evening. Notice by about 11 p.m. in Louisville, the gusts probably around 25 to 30. That's like your run-of-the-mill standard gusts on a windier day, breezy day. So again, today around the lunch hour all the way through about 6 o'clock this evening, that's where gusts could easily be surging between 35 to at times 45 miles an hour. And maybe you're just tuning into this live video. I'll give you a perspective as to how the wind gusts are looking right now. Again, it's not like something too dire of a situation. It's not hectic by any means, but this is just something we're watching. Of course, a couple of gusts up to about 45 miles an hour. I mean, that's going to be enough to maybe blow around a semi that might be on 64 between here and Louisville. So if you are going to be traveling today, just be real careful when you are on the roads. Lebanon, your wind gusts is up to about 43 miles an hour. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine actually made a good point to me. He did mention that if you get a dry slot in this round of rain like we're already kind of noticing, that's going to be kind of an area where when the dry weather on radar kind of plays a factor with stronger winds. So you're kind of seeing that. See these little pockets of dry air that are underway with these low-hanging clouds? That kind of gives way to a chance for some stronger wind. But speaking of the rainfall, here's actually a quick look at our radar, and some of the heaviest rain is from Maysville towards Lexington and Frankfort right now. This rain, again, is not flash flooding material rain, but it's some decent rain. So we're going to be seeing more of it here in Louisville, Taylorsville, Shelbyville, Frankfort, all seeing that rainfall right now. I'm just going to see if there's any other questions that some of you might have. What are your thoughts on louder than life happening today? That is a question from Paul. I think that they're probably going to let it happen still. It's up to them in the venue itself to see if they are going to cancel it. But as far as I've heard, they're just going to be providing a brief delay to louder than life. We'll have to see what happens. And of course, we'll have further updates on WHAS11.com as well as on the app. And also, we're going to have more information in our noon news in about 20 minutes, which I'll be on with Brooke Hash here at WHAS 11 as well. Speaking of all this rain, we have seen quite a bit of it, actually. I'll pull up some of the rainfall tallies so you get an idea of who's seen the most rainfall so far today. The most impressive has actually been far to the south. Fort Knox, 2.11 inches so far. Louisville at the Bowman Field, 1.32 inches coming in so far. Ali International, over an inch collected, and we have a good chance of seeing some additional rain. I did update this list about 20 minutes ago, so this rainfall is obviously helping with the drought. And I know maybe your community is not on this list, but I just wanted to give the top totals that I've seen so far. So these are the top 7 across Kentucky, and even Somerset, Kentucky. I know that's in our far southeastern communities, but I just want to bring out the most impressive totals along and near Kentucky. And Frankfort 1.08, Jeffersonville collecting about 1.26. So this rainfall is going to be really helping with the drought. Nikki just asked that question. Yes, one of our team members here at WHAS 11. Yes, the rainfall is going to be gradually helping with this drought issue we've been in. because we've been upwards of about 4 to 5 inches below normal year to date. And the worst of that drought has really been across our eastern spots. Frankfort, just to the west of Lexington, Henry County, Carroll County, Jefferson County, Indiana, and just south of Elizabethtown. That's where the drought has been bothersome, to say the least. And we're going to be noticing a big improvement when it comes to that drought issue, of course, with all this steady rainfall. And as a matter of fact, you could argue that this is just what the doctor ordered, actually, for rainfall to really help out with this drought, because it's not severe weather, no flash flooding, just a flood watch for minor flooding. And, just the wind, really the only minor issue that we're going to be getting out of this system as, Helene has really been weakening. And Helene, I believe there was a recent update on Helene. Let me get the details on this for you. She's still a tropical storm, wind of 45 miles an hour. And notice that northward movement at 32 miles an hour. So Helene is really moving quickly northbound. And kind of put some perspective how quickly she'll be here. The center of circulation with Helene is likely right along that Tennessee and Kentucky state line, eastern Kentucky down by London, the far southwestern tip of Virginia. So again, this is something that is pretty impressive about Helene. She's got a lot of energy with her, and she's still moving north around 32 miles an hour, so eventually making her way in the circulation likely right over Louisville. This also puts in perspective the track of Helene. So Helene did make landfall late last night right around the Perry area, the Big Bend of Florida. And then she kind of drifted northbound right through Macon, Georgia. And then now the center of her is likely on the eastern tier of Tennessee. And she is actually going to be tracking right over our neck of the woods. In fact, she's going to kind of stall out right over central Kentucky, the center of circulation with Helene. So that's another reason why we're just going to be seeing some good old steady rain today, tonight, tomorrow. It's going to be a rainy weekend. If you have a show or movie you've been waiting to binge and having an excuse to stay inside and stay lazy, this is the weekend to be doing just that. Here's actually a look at our future cast. So we're going to be continuing to deal with the rainfall. It's doing a pretty good job, I'd say, right now about analyzing the rain, because we're seeing heavier bands inch into Louisville around midday today. And we're just going to be seeing some good old steady rainfall for the rest of the day today, and persisting until about 6 o'clock this evening. Then we finally noticed some breaks in the clouds anywhere from Louisville, maybe points east of there as well. So again, that appears to be the good news out of this. And then take a look at time, though. Helene's still going to be most of the rainfall with Helene off to the west, probably closer to about 10 o'clock. And like I did mention as well, the center of circulation with Helene is going to be just to the west of us. If you can kind of see those wind particles on the map towards Corydon and Tell City, that's where we are noticing that Helene is going to be off into that area. So the center of circulation and the strongest wind with Helene is going to be likely just to the west of Louisville. And then with time, Helene's just going to be kind of stalling out right around midnight, maybe over Tell City and just points west of there. So we may see some brief clearing going on in Louisville. Well, clearing from the rain. It's still going to be cloudy. And then overnight tonight, probably as soon as 2 or 3 in the morning, we'll see a secondary batch of more rain. And you guessed it, Saturday is going to be a rainy one once again. We'll be noticing temperatures all day tomorrow stuck in the 60s. And if you're going to be planning to go to Louder Than Life, just do your best to stay dry. It's going to be rainy out there and just cool. And we'll just continue to see the center of circulation with Helene just stick over us, the remnants of her. She will not be a tropical storm. I can say that with confidence tomorrow. She'll just be kind of an upper level low. And what that means is kind of a fancy term in meteorological ways. We just kind of describe an upper level low as not really having too much of energy with it. There's just a lot of rain, a lot of clouds, cool air. It just gets kind of stuck over us, if that makes any sense. And the rain is going to linger even into Sunday morning. It's going to be pretty cloudy Sunday, temperatures in the mid-60s. And we'll finally start to see a little bit of a drying trend take over, especially into Sunday late evening, if not Sunday night. But again, we're still going to be out of luck. Hey, there it is, some breaks in the clouds. But it won't be until about midnight Sunday night into Monday morning. And with that said, Monday we may wake up to a brief little spotty shower, but it really shouldn't be too big of a deal. So again, this weekend is going to be a bit of a cloudy, gloomy weekend ahead, just to kind of hunker down, ride it out, and especially if you're not going to Louder Than Life. I mean, Louder Than Life, I'm excited about some of those bands performing, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be standing out in the rain in a rain poncho watching all the music like that. It's going to be kind of chilly out there and pretty damp and rainy. So again, a quick little update before we go have the noon show in about 10 more minutes. But this is the latest on Helene. Let me update the circulation center on Helene here on this radar so you get an idea. It's kind of inaccurate, but Helene's actually placed right up here. So she's right along that Tennessee and Kentucky state line. Again, Helene's just kind of sitting there stationary. We're just going to get some more and more rainfall. Of course, some bigger bands of rain inching into our eastern communities right now from eastern Kentucky. Rainfall tallies have been impressive so far, about an inch in Louisville, just over that. And this is the big picture, too. Maybe you have some travel plans. Take a look at all this rain from Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, stretching all the way back towards St. Louis and central Missouri. Helene's width is about 850 miles in diameter, maybe even more arguably, because there's some light bands of rain up by New York City and much of New Jersey. So it's it's a doozy of a storm system. There's a lot of energy with Helene to be working with, and we're seeing her finally weaken when it comes to her sheer energy, but there's still a lot of wind and rain still with her, and of course that's going to be making for a bit of a rainy weekend ahead. If you have any other questions, just go ahead and feel free to fire away with any kind of questions you might have, but I'm probably going to be jumping off this video in about 5 minutes for the noon show that we had to prepare for. But there's a look one more time at the rainfall tallies. Fort Knox, 2.11 inches. Bowman Field sitting at 1.32 towards the east end of Jefferson County. Ali International, 1.17 inches in Somerset, Kentucky, coming in just under an inch so far with that rain. I'll pull up the precipitation today map just so you get an idea too, maybe more of a map type of layer of who has seen how much rain today. Brandenburg, 1.84 inches. E-Town sitting at 1.81 today so far. Hodgenville, over 2.3 inches of rain. That's pretty impressive too, coming in from our southern spots. Mumfordville, 1.5 inches. Campbellsville, 1.72. Huntingburg, just under about an eighth of an inch. So that's very impressive stuff. Frankfort coming in just under an inch total. Shelbyville, 1.45 inches. So this system has really been producing quite a bit of rain with it, as we've been watching the remnants of Helene to be really just bringing a lot of rain to our area. It's much needed rain because guess what? It's helping with the drought. I'll pull up some of the statistics on how bad our drought's been this month. Here it is in total. This month, well, as of today, the rain's brought us above normal. But I know definitely before today, we were in a deficit, of course, with that drought. This is actually a look year-to-date with rain. So far this year, we're sitting at about 3 inches below normal. So this rainfall is definitely going to be helping. We're going to be noticing some big-time improvements. And, of course, earlier this week, we had those thunderstorms that rolled through, those severe storms. So that obviously did help with the drought as well. But this is only going to be helping the situation even more. So one more time before I let you guys go, I just want to mention there's a flood watch. Look out for some minor flooding along and south of I-64. The flood watch sticks around with us. It is in effect until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. We have a high wind warning. This stays into effect until 8 o'clock this evening. It does include Louisville. It includes Seymour, Jasper, Frankfort, Lexington. The wind not as bad off towards our southwestern spots. The National Weather Service has kept just a wind advisory intact for these communities. But keep in mind, though, it's still going to be some darn windy conditions, breezy conditions. So if you are going to be out and about, please make sure you take note of that. Of course, some power outages are not out of the question. One more question from Samantha. What about the wind? So let me pull up the wind, Futurecast wind real quick for you so you get an idea here before I sign off. But here's a look at that wind with that rain. Again, we're going to be noticing gusts around the noon hour, likely approaching 45 miles an hour, if not near 50. And through the afternoon, it's still going to be bothersome. We're going to be noticing gusts around 4 p.m. around 35 to 45 miles an hour. And even persisting into the early to mid-evening, Shepherdsville, probably some gusts around 35. And then I'd say once we hit midnight and beyond, that's when we're finally going to be noticing some improvements. And really tomorrow, the gusts are not going to be that big of a deal. I mean, 10 miles an hour is nothing. So tomorrow's just going to be a bit of a rainy, cloudy, light wind type of day, just damp. One of those maybe fall type days. And again, this rainfall is going to be helping with the drought. One quick look at that 7-day forecast before I sign off, and there it is. Sunshine in full force as we get into early to mid next week. So we can go ahead and enjoy next week's sunshine after this drought issue we've been in without feeling too guilty about what's been going on with our weather forecast, because we have been in that big-time drought lately, and we needed that rain, and we finally saw it with the remnants of Tropical Storm Helene. So there it is, a little bit closer, and I just hope everybody stays dry today if you can. Again, you can always tune in. Ben Pine's going to be in this afternoon and evening with further updates on the remnants of Helene. Helene now still a tropical storm, wind of 45 miles an hour with her, and she's rolling her way into southeastern Kentucky from eastern Tennessee. So I'm going to sign off for now. Everybody stay dry, and just find a good movie or show to binge. And just keep in mind that some power outages could be possible later today, so make sure you do have plenty of your appliances charged up just in case you do lose power in your area. Stay safe, everybody. Have a good weekend.